Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look at two-year-old champion Good Magic, one of the major contenders in this year's Kentucky Derby. He won his maiden in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He did so in sparkling fashion, being trained by Chad Brown. All eyes were on his seasonal debut, the Fountain of Youth Stakes, and I think a lot of folks were disappointed because for a brief moment on the turn, it looked like the Good Magic was going to run big, and then he kind of flattened out a bit. And after the race, upon reflection, you could perhaps make the excuse he was a short horse off the layoff, and he basically got wired by the two horses in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, those things are all true. It's still, I don't think, mitigates too much his performance in there. He just didn't run well in that race. You know, I don't think it was a total disaster. I mean, you and I had done the preview for that race, and I think we both just felt like, well, he's just going to come back and win that race. He's better than these horses. It's his first start of the year, but he's better, and he's going to win. So it was a disappointing loss, to be sure, but it's not like it was a total disaster. You just sort of felt like he wasn't that sharp, and maybe he would take a step forward in his next start.
It seemed that Chad couldn't wait to get him out of South Florida after that race.
Yeah.
He found the Bluegrass Stakes as his next start, and Good Magic got back on the beam. Let's go into the stretch of the Bluegrass. He's taking over from a very game Flame Away right now, and he's going to go on to a solid win. I thought he had to move a little bit early in this race. Does it concern you that he hops back to his left lead in mid-stretch? I wonder if it was a shadow issue or he jumped over this pole right there, but that's not been Good Magic in most of his races.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about that kind of stuff. He doesn't stop running when he jumps to his wrong lead. I don't care about that, really. Maybe he moved a little soon in this race. What I like most about this performance, first of all, I like that he stepped forward off of his Fountain of Youth. I like that he made the move to go take that race over in the second turn. And you know, Flame Away, the horse that he was taking over from, he's not a superstar. He's a real fighter, that horse. This horse had no trouble taking over the race from him. He just went right by him to take over. He didn't put that race away at the end. He didn't get away from that field, but he was never losing. I liked the way that he stepped up his game in his second start.
This is a horse that also has tactical speed. He has shown in the Bluegrass that now he can sit comfortably a little bit farther off the pace, attack, and still succeed. A situation that is likely to replicate itself in the Kentucky Derby, considering the big field and the expected solid pace up front. He has a lot of middle distance influences in the bottom of his pedigree, but seeing that name Curlin up top, that pretty much, I think, equals everything out because he's been such a great young stallion. If you ever wanted to see a mile and a quarter horse at his best, it was Curlin.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, I do wonder about this horse going a mile and a quarter. I wonder if it will get to this horse in the stretch. But at this point, I'm going to try not to worry about it too much because I've sort of come full circle on him. I didn't like him that much last year heading into the Breeders' Cup, and I was really taken with that performance from him. It was obviously a very fast race, the 100 Beyer speed figure. I thought he ran great that day. And then I was a little bit turned off by him a little bit. I'm coming back around for him. I liked his last race a lot. I think there's a chance he takes another step forward on the first Saturday of May, and if he does, I think he's right there. I'm leaving this horse open.
Let's talk about pattern handicapping. I'm not sure if you're big into this or if trainers actually plan this out or if it's just merely coincidence, but Good Magic's Breeders' Cup Juvenile win came in his third lifetime start after slight improvement from start 1 to 2. Now this is going to be his third start of the year, slight improvement from races 1 and 2 in 2018. Do you consider that in your handicapping, or do you look at it as a coincidence?
No, sure. I think it would be wise to consider that stuff. You think I really don't think these trainers, as much as I don't really believe that they can just say like this is what's going to happen and that's what's going to happen. They don't have magic wands, but to believe that they aren't sort of mapping things out like this would be ridiculous. I think Chad Brown wants this horse peaking in the big race, and the big race is his third start off the layoff.
With horses like Justify and Mendelssohn and Magnum Moon, who we'll get to in a little bit later this afternoon, really taking a lot of the media attention, it's odd that a two-year-old champion coming off of a win in a major prep race, trained by Chad Brown, is flying under the radar. This horse could very well be a playable price in an overlay in the Derby. Do you see that?
I could see it happen. I mean, I don't really have any idea how they're going to bet the race. I wonder, can this horse really get that lost in the shuffle in Derby? Maybe he can. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But once again, he's definitely a horse I'm leaving open in this race. I think this horse has a big chance.
He was 11-1 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but as a maiden, I'm not sure he'll be 11-1 in the Kentucky Derby, but I don't think he'll be the favorite either. It's Good Magic for Chad Brown, who really got back into form last time out in the Bluegrass.